Okay, so it just got rejected. Let's take a look at the crypto bill and why I'm not that much afraid about the crypto bill for XRP being rejected.
Breaking crypto XRP Bitcoin news. Very nice V-shaped recovery.
Look, it literally lost 7 cents. When you look at the big pictures, XRP literally regained $1 in just under 2 months.
After the dip this morning on the president's remarks, well, now the crypto market sold off. XRP, Bitcoin all sold off on this news. Justin, 210 Democrats and 13 Republicans voted against advancing the Genius Act, Clarity Act, and Anti-CBDC Act. So we went into this week, oh, it's crypto week in Washington. But now the Republicans, 13 of them, voted no. So what's going on there? We'll get a little bit of clarity in just a second. That's the information I was trying to bring a little bit. And so, wow. So the market sold.
So yeah, this is what people are afraid of. Voted against advancing Crypto Genius Act, Clarity Act, and Anti-CBDC Act. I think it's very normal for government to not agree on this. Look at this. Democratic or Independent, 210 yay. Republican, 30% yeah, 13% nay, and 11%, I mean not percent, but just 11 not voted, right? So you just gotta vote this issue that they are having right now. Trump was very pissed about this. But the only difference about this act that we're gonna be seeing is possibly just getting fixed and then putting back into the stock life. Basically, it's gonna get revoted again with some approvals. So I think that's very common in politics, and you just need 427 voters. Again, it is a very big amount, 27 voters, but it's not impossible, not at all. You can definitely get that amount pretty much. If you can even convince 13 voters, so let's say like 11 people from nay to yeah, this could actually be huge from your own party. And then 210, so everyone said no. 210 people said nay. This is the biggest issue. Every single person in Democratic and Independent said no. If you can have at least like convince from the opposition, so you can probably convince a few from your Republican like party to vote yes. So that's not going to be a biggest problem. So you got to find probably like 20, 22 people to vote yes. Yeah, it is not it's not easy, but it's not super impossible. That's like 22% of Democratic Independent needs to vote yes for this bill. So yeah, I'm definitely not afraid for this bill not passing next time. There's going to be some sort of resolution. They're probably going to add something for the Democratic Independent. And once you see that passing through, wow, XRP can do a lot of stuff. It can finally work through whatever it wants. And Trump was very furious on this bill because he wanted to pass this bill. It will actually pump crypto markets. And it caused a very little downtrend because I think whales have not sold because they know it's just a politician game. Retail investors take it very serious, but Bitcoin went down just 2%. It's still at 117K. If this was a big problem, guys, they would have sold at probably just right now at 120,000. So let that just sink in. I don't think this is a big thing that, people should be really afraid of. But the guys, smash that like button. Welcome everyone new to the stream as well.
And so, wow. So the market sold off, and yet we're seeing it come back a little bit. I think that the initial shock was that it got rejected. But as time went on, we got more information. Let's take a listen.
It seems like there might be a little bit of disagreement about exactly how these bills should be passed. What we know is that Republican leadership right now, they're regrouping, they're talking.
Look, we'll hold a procedural vote on crypto bills again later today. I mean, these bills are really not that problematic. It's not like you have to wait 4 years. You can literally remove a few things or add in a few things, maybe for the other party to enjoy. Maybe this could be adding a 5% extra tax or adding a 10% extra tax. Could be literally anything at this point. And that's what makes these bills not that big of a deal. But in politics, I guess this could be like a negotiating power. Because if you have the majority, you can also like kind of sway the votes, right?
with members, and so we expect to see potentially another vote as soon as later this afternoon. Remember, this is supposed to be crypto week on Capitol Hill, a big week for the industry, a big week for lawmakers pushing this, and there is concern that if they can't figure out how to go forward on this procedural vote, they won't be able to do the actual votes on the bill later this week and could hold up progress. So a bit of a scramble here on Capitol Hill right now, trying to salvage these crypto bills. We'll keep you updated. It seems like they're
So this is just a procedural vote, but if it doesn't go through, then they can't do the actual vote. I don't know. I don't understand enough.
So yeah, this is just like a basic vote or a test vote. And there's two types of votes, like potential, from what I understand, US politics. So the potential to vote, so you got to pass one first and then you got to pass the second as well. And it seems like they didn't pass the first, and probably they're talking behind, you know, the closed curtains. Where should we do? What should we do? And after that, it's smooth sailing from there. What's happening in 9 hours? I just tuned in. So XRP just got announced as an ETF. And basically, US household is voting on another Bitcoin bill. From what I'm seeing, I'm definitely not too afraid on that. There's going to be probably one on next week or tomorrow as well. So welcome to the stream, man.
In the US government, someone in the comment section, please tell us, what does a procedural vote? You know, we can just ask AI. So for those of us that didn't know, I'm not living in the US, and so I don't know, right? A procedural vote in the US Senate is a vote on a motion or a rule related to the legislation process rather than the substance of the bill or nomination. So it's vote on the motion or rule related to the process. These votes often determine how or when the legislation is considered, debated, or voted on. So they're not even voting on the actual bill.
Yeah, so people saying Trump was pissed. I think this was such a small point in crypto. For crypto, it's huge, but the issue is this did not affect the prices at all. You can actually see XRP rally right back. I feel like the US politics is a lot faster paced than European politics. Imagine in crypto, the European politics is still years behind, basically, and it's still deciding what to go and where to do. Welcome everyone to the stream, and be sure to smash that like button. I really appreciate you guys. But we are looking at this bill. Again, this is not going to be that much of an issue for XRP because they are already setting up to work with the government. After this is over, we could be seeing the crypto bill getting ignited again and again and again.
And who is not voting? So according to Eleanor and her insider information, she says just came out of the RS Roman Storm trial, no phones allowed, and catching up on the House for drama. This is someone, a trial. She was at someone's trial. But anyway, the procedural vote on the crypto bills failed after a group of GOP freedom
over concerns about basically stable coins or basically government coins and the bills not being packaged together. So they will probably include that and win that way. Here are the Republicans who voted no. And then they try to like shame them and tag them, right? But they could have their own opinions. That's the thing with politics. Like this could be for personal reasons as well. Could be that they're representing people who have told them no to basically sway their opinion. So I'm not too sure why they posted like their full names and everything. Or they just want to, who voted no to allow for a motion to reconsider, just like leader John Toon, who, when the Genius motion failed the Senate in May. So what next? My sources say leadership is now working on a new agreement to try again tonight. Again, it's by the time that I'm talking about this could happen right now.
Caucus members voted no. Mostly, I'm told, over
I'm gonna actually search on news on that if we have some more updates. Maybe a live hearing. Hopefully, that would be awesome. But unfortunately, there's no cameras there. So what we can do is we can like spot some good news.
Story and situation developing, right? And so this is what Marjorie Taylor had to say.
The Genius Act, President Trump wrote an executive order on January 23rd, and specifically on
They want to ban central bank digital currency. That's why it was voted no. They actually loved XRP, in my opinion, when you see their reactions and, Brad Garlinghouse speaking, they really appreciate him talking about XRP. They didn't put him in any tough position, in any bad situation. But when you have these major core issues, like the banks can own these multiple currencies and they can list them, when some people think they shouldn't own crypto at all, and that's where the Senate is basically saying no, you can't do that, and they want to have their own word, or they want Trump to build a new bill that is gonna possibly work out better for everyone. And again, this is not a very big ask. This ban on central banks is probably going to hurt banks, and it might, in my political opinion, non-financial opinion, it's probably good for crypto, but it's not good for the banks, right? Because banks could make money from CBDCs, central banks, digital currencies, which basically means a bank could make its own dollar in a way. It could hold its own $3, or let's say central bank dollar, which would be basically like a stable coin. I don't know why we need that. Like, can we not use XRP's Ripple? Like, what's the difference? Can we not use USDC? So why does the bank need to control this dollar? Don't we already have dollars? Again, this is a very confusing aspect that a lot of people don't understand, is how this could track everything. That's what the talk about 2021 was. It wasn't XRP's security and things like that. The main warning of the governments was actually the divided opinion on central bank digital currencies.
Out. And then they sent this over to the House, and Speaker Johnson didn't allow us to do amendments to amend the bill to ban CBDC.
Yeah, so some people voted no to reconsider. So look at this. Allow motion to reconsider, and then there's people, you never know why they voted no. They could have gotten scammed in crypto. They could have not been happy with how it was written. They maybe didn't like something, or maybe just don't like crypto at all, right? Or they want it to be unregulated. You never know, but sometimes, if you call your senator, I think that's how it works in the US, right? You can call your own Senate, and you can basically you can kind of sway their opinion. If you can literally get on a call with them and get their vote. That's what's really awesome in the US. They're not voting for you, but you can literally just ring them up and convince them, or send them a message on why XRP's bill should be accepted. Something like that. But if I'm wrong, someone in the comments, please correct me, and welcome everyone.
That's that. Oh.
I support crypto, but cannot get behind anything that allows backdoor to CBDC. So this is there. I don't know why they didn't include the CBDC bill. I guess because it benefits banks, and it probably helps anyone that's rich, because own CBDCs could be a massive cash cow. They could make a ton of money from that, from just managing these CBDCs. There's a vote to allow legislation to come to the floor that would enable that to happen. Thus, I voted no. Happy to support any pro-crypto bill, but I will not back CBDCs. So again, they should have probably made 2 bills out of that. I think CBDCs would stabilize the volatility of crypto. Government essentially stabilized the values of all cryptos across the board, unless a stock market could do this. According to Charles Hoskins on the Sean Ryan Show, claims cryptos can be interchangeable at some point. I mean, yeah, it could make cryptos more stable, but do you really need that? Like, we already have stable coins. The number one problem with crypto, including Bitcoin, is that our devices and digital infrastructure are basically captured and controlled by some... I'm not even gonna read comments like that, because that's just crazy.
It's not that these Republicans are voting against crypto. They're actually the opposite. They are voting for crypto against CBDCs. That's their issue. And so this is more of a
So yeah, if this was 2 bills, this bill would definitely get passed.
Technical thing. This is maybe being too pro crypto, right? But anti CBDC. So it's more of a technical.
So yeah, all the politicians love crypto now, and they have nothing against crypto, but they do have something against the banks managing their stable coins. And, there's a divided opinion. There's negatives and positives to this. If banks enter crypto, they can We just got news yesterday that banks can literally have their own, they can hold crypto assets. Banks can now hold XRP. They could not own XRP maybe 2 days ago. Yesterday, a new bill came out that made banks hold Bitcoin, Ethereum. So banks can now probably enable you to buy those cryptocurrencies for yourself.
Thing, and it seems that they're going to make amendments, maybe vote on it, maybe move it forward. Even if it kind of gets rejected, maybe this is not a bad thing, because then they can fix it and put it forward again. I know that it was supposed to be crypto week, but
so this could be like, after this bill gets passed, who knows, maybe Amazon or Apple could join in. Maybe some big companies could enter crypto. I would definitely be happy with that.
This is technical stuff. If it happens, the fear is, from what I understood, is that by the next time they can put this through, because all these things take so much time.
Smash that like button, guys, if you haven't already. But yeah, people are worried that the hype for Bitcoin will die down before the regulation gets here. Like, yeah, it would obviously be an issue for that. But if they make another vote later today, wow. Okay, that would be really nice. I gotta check on that. We're gonna check the other video on what exactly is the update on this as well.
That really what could potentially happen here, and so that's why the market was a little bit concerned. But seems that this is not the end of the world. That these bills potentially will still get.
Guys, I'm saying it again. I already said it once, but if this was end of the world, you would literally see Bitcoin whales dumping, like big institutions dropping their Bitcoin on midnight, afternoon, or whatever time it is for them. They would drop it at probably 90%, like all of their 90% of their holdings. If this was such a big problem, they would drop Bitcoin to 90,000 and XRP would immediately go to $2 or $1.7 if this was like a game-breaking news. And it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion.
Push through, and it's just more of a technical thing, and that's why the market is recuperating the sell-off. Although XRP is still down from that 294 that we saw earlier today, but it's been one of the
again, like the 291 to 288. This is 3 cents, guys, and you got to think about the long term. XRP went up 25% this week. So basically, if it was at $4, it would go up $1. So it went, what, 75 cents up? Probably more in a bit over a week. So probably went up like 30-40%. And there's literally people saying, oh, this is a big crash. You got to think about the big picture here. Big picture.
Happiest days in a while. Pretty volatile. Like a lot of assets are flipping 4 or 5% up and down, up and down, up and down. Just what's going on with the leverage? Not too bad. 510 million. If this was a few weeks ago, that would be like, whoa, it's high. But
so we can actually, the beautiful thing about crypto is we can see what the whales are doing. Are they selling their XRP and Bitcoin, or are they probably, just not doing anything, maybe even buying more when people sell? So you can see here, there is long 916K, short 2.63 million. So literally 362 million are still longing and 148 million are shorting. 130,000 traders were liquidated. The total liquidations came at 500 million. So yeah, definitely very big trading volumes right now on the market. People doing all sorts of things because the markets are going up and down. But you can actually see here, 60% are still bullish and are saying, hey, 55% that this is gonna go, that XRP is gonna go up. So 55% at $3 about, so take it or leave it, is saying that it will go down. Why 9 hours? Because we might get the new update basically for the bill. I'm gonna check that right up. And the XRP ETF, that's the big news for today. Welcome to the stream.
A week or so, that's not too bad. Longs are getting smushed a little bit. And so we still have to be.
They said they're going to vote later today. So this is probably this is happening right now as we speak. They are probably discussing how to improve this bill. It might get rejected again, but I don't think so. If they add in the CBDCs, Trump is gonna make a pretty serious call on what's gonna happen on the future of cryptocurrencies. You know, this is gonna be probably staying for 1 to 3 years.